The Panthers are moving full steam towards the 2016 season. It's Mike Kraft, Brian Strickland, Max Henson, and we are starting our position-by-position preview heading into the season. Brian, no doubt, no surprise, we're going to talk about quarterbacks because it's number one on our mind, and number one has been a man on the mission here during the offseason.
Number one indeed, Mike, and number one is in the reigning league MVP in Cam Newton. Another strong performance by him in the offseason workout programs, looked great in OTAs, brought that energy that really carried over to the 2015 regular season, hoping to do the same in 2016. Can't do much better than league MVP, but obviously Super Bowl champion is where he'll be aiming.
There's that one thing out of all the things that he didn't accomplish that are driving him now, and that's actually winning the Super Bowl. And Max, you saw him lead by example during the offseason.
Yeah, we sure did, and that's really what Cam's role on this team is. He's the MVP, the leader of this football team, sets the tone with his physical prowess and, of course, his leadership responsibility. And going into this new season, everybody's going to be very curious to see how Cam responds after the bitter disappointment in that Super Bowl. But as you guys mentioned, put up such an incredible season individually. Can he match it? Can he do better than he even did last year? I mean, that's a scary thought when you talk about 45 total touchdowns, 35 on the air, 10 on the ground, so much production. Now you think if he can even continue to improve, which we all know he's capable of, still a young guy in his career, only going to get better. It's a scary thought.
Well, Brian, the Panthers are fortunate to have a great backup quarterback in Derek Anderson.
Yeah, when last we saw Derek, he was winning a couple of starts previous year when Cam had pretty much the only injury blip of his career. Pretty seamless. I mean, we see DA out at practice. He's quite the runner in practice, as we see. But that is kind of the one difference between those guys come game day, obviously, is that Derek Anderson is not going to rack up the rushing yards that Cam can. But otherwise, has complete command of the offense. They might not look like the same guy physically and how they approach the game. But the reality is that their production is similar. He has a track record of winning with this offense, and it gives you confidence to know you can always depend on him.
Depend on him. And Max, Joe Webb is probably the most well-known number 3 quarterback in the league. He's a Swiss Army knife of quarterbacks, isn't he?
Yeah, really. And it's hard to call him a quarterback sometimes because he does so much for this team. Of course, Joe, the third-string quarterback, fits in so well in that room with Cam and DA. They've got a really nice chemistry. But you'll see Joe involved with special teams, of course, a guy who's made plays, some timely tackles on those units, also returning kicks last year, a guy who in a pinch can play some wide receiver as well. So Joe brings so many of those different things to this team. It's why he's been able to keep a roster spot.
Well, we talked about quarterbacks. Next up on Panthers.com, we will take a look at the Panthers running backs.